how can questions about moving forward, making progress, or how you identify indicators of success, what it is you're looking for, help you move forward? As this year comes to a close and we enter into the following year, like any cycle, there's going to be time to stop and reflect and look at the chaos, the complexity, the challenges, what navigation tools and skills you earned or developed or discovered through your challenges, how you turned obstacles and odds into opportunities, and how you continue to build your self efficacy and that of your organization, your teams, your managers, your peers, to better identify patterns of what is working to increase and find patterns of what is not working to decrease. This is where I think solution focused questions and management and interactions can be helpful. So recently, Brief, which is a amazing solution focused company and organization, shared these two tweets that I thought were very powerful, and they helped to reframe what I've been thinking about in organizations. The first one is this: identifying not so much what do you have to do to move forward. So, for example, you're talking to your team or you're talking to a staff member, and they're telling you, I just feel stuck. I can't get out of this rut. Or currently I'm overloaded with work projects and I can't move forward in these work projects. Sometimes we'll go through a coaching conversation, the situation, the observation, the levels, validating progress, exceptions, what's working well, decision and direction. And oftentimes the question might be, what do you have to do to move forward? And that creates a step. Oftentimes in the coaching discussion or in the room or at that time, the person or you may not have a concrete step you're going to take. A better way to phrase that is to say, how will you know you're moving forward? Or what indicators will others notice that lets them see, or lets me see, or lets you see that you're making progress? Identifying these signs of indicators or exceptions or signposts, we call them, to say, when you're making progress, what will you notice, begins to implement or put indicators or acknowledgement pieces in the person's framing of progress to move forward. This next one really pushed me into a place of thinking differently about stuff. It's a really common coaching question. It's also a common therapy question to ask when the person was challenged or stuck, or they came to you and said, hey, I felt very overwhelmed in that meeting. Or the salesperson comes to you and says, I was trying to close the sale. It didn't work out. And almost a de facto or fall to question is, how did that make you feel? Solution focused, and from Brief here, it says that may not be the best question to ask, because making you feel acts as if the environment was forcing a feeling upon you and that you are passive or impotent, or that an event can make you feel things, as opposed to feeling something from you and you generating the feelings, or the interaction between you and the other person, or you and the team, or you and the organization are what generates or creates the feelings. A different thing to ask might be, what pleased you about the way you handled that? And to handle that question may not even be feelings. It might be ways that you coped, strategies you used, ways you handled the conversation or navigated the meeting that helped you identify what worked well in the situation and how to move forward. So with both those examples, I want you to think about a challenge or problem you're currently working with. It can be anything. Once you better understand what that challenge is, what will you be doing instead of focusing on the challenge? Additionally, as you're making progress on that challenge, what indicators or what identifiers or examples will you notice that helps you see that you are making progress to improve what you want to make better? Additionally, when you think about the feelings parts, is not asking yourself in that environment, how did I feel? Because feelings are co-constructed and feelings are also recreated when you think about the past based upon your current presence and context. Saying instead, in that environment or in that challenging situation or in that interaction, what did I learn and how did I best deal with it to make sense of doing things differently? The what did I learn, how did I make sense will create a pragmatic or an action-based thing for you to work on to say, when I'm in similar situations again, how can I reinforce my skill sets to move forward to make progress? All of this comes back to the core being, if you are a manager or you're somebody's peer in an organization, it's recognizing that you have to work to accomplish goals and objectives. And if you are a manager or somebody's peer, you are not my therapist. I'm not your therapist. There's work that has to get done inside the containment of expectations and accountability. The accountability expectations are ways to figure out, how did you cope with that? What did you do to make sense of that environment? How can you build those skills going forward? And building those skills and identifying those indicators or signposts will allow you to better make sense of your environment, build your skill sets, and move forward. Thanks. I'm Mike Cardis from Organization Development by Mike Cardis. Together, we make progress.